Have you ever sat in a quiet room and realized how loud silence can feel? The kind of silence that presses gently on your chest, where even the ticking clock seems to echo. Maybe it's evening. The television hums softly in the background, and for a moment, you catch yourself wondering when life got so still. You think back to when your home was full of voices, footsteps, laughter, even arguments. Now, the phone doesn't ring as often. The children are busy. Friends have moved away or passed on. You tell yourself it's just part of getting older, but deep down, something in you aches for connection. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone, and it's not just an emotional struggle. Science now says that loneliness, especially after 70, can be more dangerous than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. That might sound shocking, but researchers have found that chronic loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, dementia, and early death. It weakens the immune system, raises stress hormones, and even speeds up physical aging. It's not just in the mind, it's in the body, too. The truth is, humans were never meant to live in isolation. We are wired for connection. It's as essential as food, water, or sleep. Yet, in a world that moves faster than ever, many older adults find themselves quietly drifting into loneliness, sometimes without even realizing it. That's why this conversation matters. Because staying socially connected isn't just about happiness. It's about survival, and more importantly, about thriving in the years you have ahead. So, how do we stay connected when the world seems to be pulling apart? How do we rebuild that sense of belonging when our circles have changed, when our families are far away, or when we simply feel forgotten? Let's start with something simple but powerful, keeping your routine social. It's easy to slip into the habit of doing everything alone, eating alone, walking alone, watching TV alone. But studies show that turning just one of those daily moments into a shared experience can dramatically lift your mood and lower feelings of isolation. Maybe it's inviting a neighbor over for tea, joining a local breakfast group, or calling a friend while you go for your morning walk. The smallest acts can create ripples of connection. One 2020 study found that older adults who had even brief social interactions, like chatting with a cashier or greeting a passerby, reported higher happiness and better cognitive function than those who didn't. The key isn't quantity, it's quality and consistency. You don't need 100 friends, you just need genuine contact, a voice that reminds you that you're seen and valued. And it starts with simple moments, choosing to reach out instead of withdrawing. Another way to break the cycle of loneliness is to rediscover purpose through connection. One of the hardest parts of aging is that the roles that once defined us, parent, worker, caregiver, begin to fade. That can leave a void. But that same void can become an opportunity to reconnect in new ways. Volunteering is one of the most effective ways to do that. It gives you a sense of meaning, puts you in contact with others, and replaces the question, what now? With who can I help today? Whether it's reading to children at a library, helping out at a community garden, or simply visiting someone else who's lonely, these acts of service fill a deep emotional need. When you give, your body actually responds physically. It releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which reduces blood pressure and stress levels. You might walk into a volunteer role thinking you're helping someone else, but you'll walk out realizing you've helped yourself, too. Many centenarians, those who live past 100, say that giving back and staying needed was what kept them feeling alive. That sense of purpose feeds both heart and soul. Now, let's talk about something that many people overlook when it comes to loneliness: technology. For a lot of older adults, it can feel intimidating. Maybe the buttons are confusing or the apps don't make sense. But once you take the time to learn, even just a few basics, technology can open doors that keep you connected in remarkable ways. Imagine seeing your grandchild smile on a video call instead of just hearing their voice. Or joining an online class with people your age from around the world. Or reconnected with an old friend on social media. It's not about replacing real-life contact. It's about adding another way to stay close when distance gets in the way. A study from the University of Michigan found that older adults who use video chats regularly were significantly less likely to experience depression. That means learning to use a smartphone or a tablet isn't just a tech skill. It's a health tool. And you don't have to master everything overnight. Ask a grandchild or a neighbor to show you the basics. Take notes, practice, and give yourself grace. The goal isn't perfection, it's connection. If technology isn't your thing, there are other ways to bridge distance. Handwritten letters, for example, carry something deeply human that digital messages can't replace. The texture of paper, the shape of handwriting, the thought that goes into every word. It's intimate. Writing to someone you care about, even if it's just once a month, rekindles connection in a tangible, heartfelt way. You might be surprised how much joy that small act brings both to you and to the person who receives it. What's important to remember is that loneliness doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. It's your body's way of saying, I need people. And that's something worth listening to. Even if your circle is smaller than it used to be, it can still be rich and meaningful. Maybe it's one good friend, one kind neighbor, one shared laugh. Relationships don't need to be grand or numerous. They just need to be real. As we grow older, we often focus so much on maintaining our physical health, our diet, our medications, our doctor visits, that we forget our emotional and social health need the same care. But the truth is, they're all connected. When you feel lonely, your body reacts as if it's under threat. It releases stress hormones, your blood pressure rises, and your immune system weakens. But when you feel connected, your body releases healing chemicals instead. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. These balance your mood, strengthen your heart, and even protect your memory. So, reaching out to someone isn't just good for your spirit. It's good for your heart, your brain, and your longevity. Now that we've explored how small social routines, giving back, and embracing technology can help you reconnect, we'll keep diving deeper. Because connection isn't just about people. It's also about community, creativity, and meaning. Those are the threads that make life after 70 not only longer, but richer. You know, one of the most healing things about human connection is that it doesn't always have to be grand or dramatic. Sometimes it's just a nod from a neighbor who waters their plants at the same time you do, or the cashier at the grocery store who remembers your name. Those little sparks of familiarity, those tiny gestures of, I see you, are what remind the soul that it still belongs somewhere. Yet, as we grow older, many of us start to shrink our worlds without even realizing it. Maybe friends move away, loved ones pass on, or health slows us down. Before long, the phone rings less, the doorbell hardly ever does, and the days blur into one another like an endless Sunday afternoon. But here's something the science is very clear about. Loneliness isn't just emotional discomfort. It's a slow, biological drain that wears down the heart, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of dementia and early death. Some studies even show it's deadlier than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to remind you that staying connected is as vital as your morning medicine or your daily walk. And one of the best ways to rebuild that sense of connection is to revive something we've almost lost, the simple act of conversation. Not texting, not scrolling, but talking. Real voices, real pauses, real laughter. If you have an old friend whose number you still remember by heart, try calling them, even if it's been years. You might be surprised how quickly old warmth returns once the first chuckle slips out. And if there's no one from the past to reach for, the present is full of possibilities. Community centers, book clubs, walking groups, or even the kind of online circles where people your age share stories and support. The key isn't who you talk to, it's that you do. The brain is built for connection. It lights up with purpose and joy when we share even the smallest parts of our day. Loneliness feeds on silence, but conversation, however simple, starves it. Still, I understand. It can be hard to make the first move. There's pride involved, sometimes fear. Maybe you think, what if they don't remember me? What if I'm bothering them? But connection isn't about performance or perfection. It's about presence. People aren't looking for a flawless version of you. They're looking for someone real. Think of how good it feels when someone listens to you fully, without glancing at their phone or rushing to reply. That gift is so rare now, and yet it costs nothing to give. Maybe that's your second path out of loneliness, listening deeply. Sometimes when you reach out to comfort another, you end up healing yourself in ways you didn't expect. Another overlooked lifeline is movement with meaning. Not exercise in traditional sense, but shared physical activity that bonds people. Gardening, dancing, tai chi, or simply walking with someone else. There's something ancient about moving alongside another person. Our ancestors used to walk miles together to hunt, to gather, to pray. Their steps synced, their breaths aligned, their hearts beat in unison. That same rhythm still works its quiet magic today. If you join a local walking group, you're not just stretching your legs, you're giving your heart something to look forward to. You might meet someone who loves the same path you do, or someone who pauses to admire the same patch of flowers. That's where connection begins, not in grand gestures, but in small, shared rhythms. And don't underestimate the power of curiosity. Loneliness can shrink your world until you forget how wide it used to be. Curiosity stretches it back open. Take a class, even an online one, in something that's always intrigued you. Painting, history, photography, even basic computer skills. Many community centers offer free or discounted programs for seniors. You might walk in feeling uncertain, but you'll leave knowing that learning is one of the most social acts there is. It gives you stories to tell, ideas to exchange, and a reason to keep showing up. And every time you show up, life notices, and so do people. Then there's volunteering. It's astonishing how healing it can be to shift the focus from "I am lonely" to "someone else needs me." There's deep dignity in giving, whether it's reading to children at the library, spending time at an animal shelter, or helping at a local food drive. You don't have to fix the world. You just have to show up in it. That sense of purpose doesn't just connect you to others. It reconnects you to yourself. Because when you give your time, your kindness, your attention, you remind your spirit that it still has something precious to offer. And here's something beautiful. Connection doesn't always need another person. It can begin with something larger, the world itself. Sitting in a park, listening to the sound of birds, or tending to a few potted plants can anchor you in a sense of belonging. Nature has a way of speaking to the parts of us that words can't reach. When you step outside and feel the breeze on your face, you're not alone. You're in the presence of something vast and living. Sometimes, that's the doorway through which other kinds of connection return. But perhaps the most powerful connection of all is the one you create with yourself. So many older adults carry unspoken grief about time lost, chances missed, people gone. Loneliness often hides in those quiet corners. When you take time to sit with your own feelings, to forgive yourself, and to treat your heart gently, you begin to fill that space with peace instead of ache. Writing in a journal, meditating, or simply reflecting on a moment of gratitude can all rebuild your emotional foundation. Once that inner bond strengthens, reaching outward becomes so much easier. So if you've ever caught yourself saying, "It's too late to start over," let me tell you, it isn't. Connection has no expiration date. Some of the most beautiful friendships are formed in the later chapters of life, precisely because they're built not on competition or obligation, but on genuine understanding. You've lived, you've seen, you've learned. And now, that wisdom can become the bridge that connects you to others who need exactly what you have to share. Because the truth is, we don't outgrow the need for companionship, laughter, or being seen. We just get better at recognizing what real connection feels like. And it doesn't take a crowd. It might just take one person who says, "I understand." That moment can be enough to change the chemistry of your day, the rhythm of your heart, even the direction of your life. Now let's keep going, because there's one more piece of this puzzle that might surprise you. The hidden ways your daily environment and habits either deepen your loneliness or gently dissolve it. You might not realize it, but the spaces we live in have a quiet influence on how connected or isolated we feel. Think about it. Does your home invite connection, or does it subtly push it away? A house that once echoed with laughter can slowly grow still, filled with reminders of the past but few signs of the present. It's easy to let clutter build up, to keep the curtains closed, to stop rearranging things because it doesn't really matter. But it does matter. When your environment feels alive, you feel alive too. Open the windows and let the light in. Put on some soft music in the background. Move your favorite chair closer to the window where you can see the world passing by. Even something as simple as putting a vase of fresh flowers on the table can shift your mood and make you more open to reaching out. The energy of your home mirrors the energy of your heart. When you freshen one, the other begins to heal. And if you've ever felt that your home has grown too quiet, consider this. Maybe it's time to invite sound back in. The sound of laughter, of conversation, of movement. Maybe you could host a simple tea afternoon with a neighbor or invite a few people from your community center over for a movie night. It doesn't have to be fancy. The goal isn't to entertain, it's to connect. The more often your space is filled with warmth and voices, the less power loneliness has to settle in. Another surprising way to fight loneliness is by nurturing routines that give your days a steady rhythm. Loneliness thrives in emptiness, in those long stretches of time with nothing to look forward to. But when you fill your schedule, even lightly, with small, meaningful rituals, you begin to reclaim your sense of purpose. Maybe it's walking to a local cafe every morning for coffee, tending to a small garden, feeding the birds, or writing a letter every Sunday afternoon. These simple acts create little anchors in time, reminders that your days are still full of things worth doing. Technology, too, can be a bridge rather than a barrier, if used thoughtfully. I know it can feel intimidating, but learning to use video calls, social media, or messaging apps can open doors to connection that distance might otherwise close. You can share photos, join groups of like-minded people, or even attend virtual meetups with others your age. The key is to use technology with intention, to bring people closer, not just to fill time. Imagine being able to see your grandchildren's faces whenever you want, or joining a live online concert with people from all around the world, all smiling and listening together. Technology, when approached with curiosity instead of fear, can shrink the miles between hearts. But let's not forget the inner landscape, the quiet world inside you that no one else sees. Sometimes, loneliness doesn't come from a lack of people, but from a lack of connection to your own purpose. Many people, especially after retirement or the loss of a partner, start to wonder, what am I here for now? That question can weigh heavy. Yet, purpose doesn't have to be big or world-changing. It can be found in small acts of meaning, a kind word to a stranger, helping someone learn a skill, or simply waking each morning with the intention to notice something beautiful. When you live with purpose, even solitude feels softer, more sacred. And here's something beautiful about aging that isn't talked about enough: emotional depth. You've lived long enough to understand what truly matters. You've seen how quickly things can change, how precious the little moments are. That wisdom is what makes your presence valuable. Younger generations crave that: your stories, your insights, your calm understanding of life's ups and downs. Sharing that wisdom is another way to stay connected. Maybe it's through mentoring, storytelling, or simply offering advice when someone asks. When you pass on what you've learned, you're not just connecting, you're contributing. You're leaving traces of your life woven into others, and that's one of the most profound antidotes to loneliness there is. And if there are days when you still feel that ache, that quiet longing that no amount of company seems to fill, remember this: it's human. Loneliness is a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're still open, still capable of caring. It's your heart reminding you that it was made for connection. Treat that feeling gently, like you would a tired friend. Sit with it, breathe through it, and remind yourself that even this emotion is a form of connection to the vast shared experience of being alive. Now, let's circle back for a moment, not to recap, but to gather the threads. Staying connected after 70 isn't about forcing yourself into constant company. It's about staying awake to life, to the small joys and human warmth that still surround you. It's about keeping a heart open, through conversation, curiosity, kindness, and courage. Loneliness might visit, but it doesn't have to stay. You can always invite life back in. So, if you're listening to this and something inside you stirs, a spark of maybe I could, don't ignore it. Call that friend. Join that group. Smile at that stranger. Water those plants. Let your world stretch open again. Because you deserve that fullness, that feeling of belonging that doesn't fade with age. In fact, it deepens. And remember this: connection is not about how many people you have around you. It's about how deeply you allow yourself to be known. So let others see you, the real you, with your laughter, your stories, your quiet strength. That's where the healing begins. If you found comfort or inspiration here, share your thoughts below. Tell us one way you plan to stay connected this week. It might inspire someone else who's watching in silence, looking for the courage to do the same. And if you'd like to keep finding gentle, hopeful reminders like this, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. It helps more than you know. Here's to you, to your heart that's still learning, still loving, still open to the world. You are not alone, and you never were. Here's to living your best, most connected life at any age.